Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes. Today, we're going deep, really deep into the human heart
Oh, yeah.
with Natsume Soseki's Kokoro.
Absolutely. A book that I think really, lives up to its name,
Yeah.
exploring those really intricate complexities of human relationships, the weight of the past, and I think always kind of that search for meaning
Yeah,
in a rapidly changing world.
exactly. And Kokoro, meaning heart in
Yeah.
Japanese, takes us on this journey through Meiji-era Japan,
Mm.
a time of, you know, just these huge societal shifts and internal struggles.
Huge.
So at the heart of this story is this profound relationship between a young narrator and an older man. He calls him Sensei,
Yeah.
a man who's wrestling with secrets and a past that really haunts him.
It's a story that unfolds so slowly,
Right.
drawing you in with its quiet intensity and psychological depth.
Yeah.
Soseki masterfully uses seemingly simple details and events, but they all hint at these deeper emotional currents that are flowing beneath the surface.
Okay, let's dive into this. So the story begins with our unnamed narrator encountering Sensei on a beach in Kamakura,
Right.
a place known for its serene beauty and ancient temples.
Right.
But Sensei is withdrawn, almost a recluse,
Yeah.
and the narrator is immediately drawn to his mystery.
And that setting is so crucial because Kamakura, with its blend of natural beauty and spiritual significance, becomes a space for introspection and reflection. And it's where their connection really begins to take root amidst that recurring motif of swimming in the ocean.
Right, like that shared vulnerability of being submerged
Exactly.
in this vastness of the sea, almost a cleansing ritual.
Exactly. It's as if Soseki's using the ocean to symbolize the depths of their individual struggles and also that potential for connection.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful image that sets the stage for the emotional journey that we're about to embark on.
And there's this intriguing element of a foreigner that the narrator keeps noticing near Sensei.
Yes.
It's never really fully explained, but it highlights those cultural anxieties of
Yeah.
the time. That clash between Japan's traditional past and the influx of Western influence.
Exactly. It's subtle, but it speaks to the broader context of the novel, this sense of a society in transition, grappling with its identity. And this tension is mirrored in the narrator's own life as he finds himself drawn to Sensei's wisdom,
Right.
seeking guidance as he navigates his own path to adulthood.
But Sensei, as we learn, is carrying a heavy burden. There's this mystery surrounding his monthly visits to a grave in Zoshigaya Cemetery,
Oh, yeah.
a secret that casts a shadow over their budding relationship.
And this mystery is key to understanding Sensei's character. It becomes a thread that Soseki weaves throughout the narrative,
Right?
slowly unraveling the layers of Sensei's past and the guilt that weighs on him.
We also get these glimpses into his relationship with his wife.
Yes.
It seems loving on the surface, but there's this palpable distance between them, a sense of unspoken tensions and loneliness.
It's as if Soseki's suggesting that even within the confines of marriage, true connection can be elusive. They're bound together yet fundamentally alone, each grappling with their own internal struggles.
And for the narrator, this growing connection with Sensei coincides with a growing disconnect from his own family.
Yeah.
He's caught between the expectations of his traditional upbringing and the intellectual and emotional freedom he experiences in Tokyo with Sensei.
It's a classic coming-of-age dilemma, and it's amplified by the societal shifts of the Meiji era, the pull of tradition versus the allure of modernity,
Yeah.
the yearning for individual fulfillment amidst societal expectations.
It's a tension that comes to a head when the narrator receives a telegram summoning him back to his rural hometown to care for his ailing father.
This shift in setting marks a significant turning point in the story, a return to the narrator's roots, a confrontation with the traditional values and familial obligations that he's been trying to escape.
It's such a stark contrast to the intellectual and artistic world he's been inhabiting with Sensei in Tokyo.
Right.
And we see this contrast so vividly in the interactions between the narrator and his father.
Absolutely. Their relationship is marked by a generational divide, a clash between the father's traditional expectations and the son's yearning for something more.
Right.
There's this poignant scene where they're playing chess on the sunken hearth,
Yeah.
a traditional element of the Japanese home, but their game becomes this silent battleground for their unspoken conflicts.
And beneath the surface, there's this growing anxiety surrounding the father's illness and the family's denial of his impending death.
It's like a ticking clock that adds another layer of tension to the narrative,
Uh-huh.
a reminder of the fragility of life and the inevitability of loss.
And amidst all of this, the narrator receives a letter from Sensei, a letter that will change his life forever.
This is where the story takes a dramatic turn. The letter becomes a confession, a way for Sensei to finally confront his past and share the burdens he's carried for so long.
But the timing couldn't be worse. The narrator, consumed by his father's declining health and the weight of his familial obligations, can't fully absorb the weight of Sensei's words.
It's a heartbreaking moment, a missed opportunity for connection, at a time when both men are facing their own personal crises.
Yeah.
It highlights the complexities of human relationships and the ways in which our own internal struggles can sometimes blind us to the needs of others.
And with that, we delve into Sensei's past, a past that has shaped him into the man he is today, a man haunted by secrets, guilt, and a profound sense of isolation.
It's a story that unfolds gradually, revealing the layers of betrayal, love, and loss that have led Sensei to the point of despair.
Yeah, so through Sensei's letter, we're kind of transported back to his childhood,
Right?
a time that's marked by both innocence and profound loss.
Yeah.
He kind of paints this picture of a happy childhood, but then it's shattered by the sudden death of his parents
Oh, wow.
from typhus.
Oh.
And so this loss leaves him orphaned and vulnerable, forced to rely on the care of his uncle,
Right.
a figure he initially views with admiration and trust.
It seems like a classic case of misplaced trust. What happens next? Yeah, tragically, Sensei discovers that his uncle has been systematically stealing his inheritance.
Oh, no.
And this betrayal by someone he loved and depended on cuts deep, leaving him disillusioned and cynical about human nature.
Yeah, to be betrayed by someone you thought you could rely on, especially at such a young age, must have been devastating.
It's a wound that never truly heals.
Right.
And it shapes his worldview, fueling his belief that money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
A corrupting force that turns even those closest to us into villains.
So this early betrayal seems to cast a shadow over all his future relationships.
Precisely. It fosters a deep-seated distrust of others, making it difficult for him to form genuine connections. It's like he's constantly on guard, afraid of being hurt or betrayed again.
And this leads him to Tokyo, where he eventually finds himself living in a boarding house
Right.
run by a widow and her daughter.
Right.
It's here that he experiences a brief glimmer of hope,
Yes.
a chance for connection, and perhaps even love.
Yeah. The boarding house becomes like a microcosm of society, a space where different personalities and backgrounds collide.
Right.
Sensei, initially withdrawn and suspicious, gradually warms to the widow's kindness and is drawn to her daughter's youthful spirit and innocence.
But of course, with Sensei, things are never simple.
Right.
He also forms a close bond with another student named Kei,
Yeah.
and both men end up falling in love with the daughter.
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
Right.
It's a classic love triangle fraught with tension and unspoken emotions.
Yeah.
Sensei, still haunted by his past and his fear of betrayal,
Right.
hesitates to express his feelings, while Kei, driven by his passionate nature, openly declares his love.
And this is where Sensei's internal conflict reaches a boiling point.
Right.
He's torn between his own desires and a sense of duty to his friend.
Exactly. So when Kei seeks Sensei's blessing to pursue the daughter,
Yeah.
Sensei, in a moment of weakness and jealousy, betrays his friend's trust. He suggests that Kei's upbringing in a Buddhist temple makes him morally unfit to marry the daughter.
Wow. Talk about a low blow.
Yeah.
So he basically sabotages his friend's chances out of jealousy.
It's a decision he'll come to regret deeply, driven to despair by Sensei's words and the perceived loss of the woman he loves.
Right.
Kei takes his own life.
Oh, wow.
And this tragedy just shatters Sensei, leaving him with an overwhelming sense of guilt and responsibility for his friend's death.
It's a turning point in the story and in Sensei's life.
Yeah.
He recognizes his own capacity for cruelty, realizing that he's capable of the same kind of betrayal that shattered his own life years ago.
This realization is devastating for Sensei. It reinforces his negative view of human nature and fuels his self-loathing.
Right.
He becomes, in his own words, a living corpse, a man haunted by the ghost of his past and the unbearable weight of his guilt.
And yet, despite all of this, he eventually marries the daughter.
It's a decision fraught with contradictions. He loves the daughter deeply and wants to give her happiness, yet his guilt over Kei's death casts a long shadow over their marriage.
Right.
He's unable to fully escape his past, and this prevents him from experiencing true joy and intimacy with his wife.
So they're united by their love for each other, but also by this shared grief and the unspoken weight of Sensei's past.
Exactly.
It's almost as if he's seeking redemption through this marriage,
Right.
but he can't quite escape the darkness that consumes him.
Precisely, he's trapped in a cycle of self-punishment, unable to forgive himself or move on from the tragedy that's come to define his life.
And then amidst all of this personal turmoil, a momentous event occurs. The death of Emperor Meiji.
Mm.
How does this impact Sensei?
Yeah, the emperor's death marks a significant turning point in Japan's history, the end of an era.
Right.
It signifies the passing of traditional values and the embrace of modernity. And for Sensei, already grappling with his own sense of displacement and alienation, this event triggers a profound existential crisis.
Yeah.
He feels like a relic of the past, struggling to find his place in a rapidly changing world.
And to make matters worse, his wife makes a passing comment suggesting he should follow the emperor to the grave.
It's a flippant remark, but for Sensei, already teetering on the edge of despair, it plants a dangerous seed.
Right.
It awakens the idea of junshi,
Mm-hmm.
an ancient custom of following one's master into death.
So all of the elements of Sensei's life, his
Yeah.
guilt, his isolation, his longing for meaning, and now this ancient concept of sacrifice
Yes,
converge into this tragic decision to end his own life.
exactly. Sensei's suicide is not a simple act of despair.
Well-
It's a complex decision driven by a confluence of factors, a culmination of his lifelong struggle with betrayal, his inability to forgive himself, and his desperate search for purpose in a world that feels increasingly foreign to him. So Sensei leaves behind this final testament, a letter addressed to the narrator and detailing his reasons for taking his own life. It's a heart-wrenching confession that really sheds light on that, tormented landscape of his soul.
It's like he's handing over this puzzle box, but with missing pieces.
Yeah.
The narrator's left to grapple with the emotional fallout of Sensei's death,
Right.
while also trying to understand the man who had become both a mentor and a source of profound mystery.
Imagine being in the narrator's shoes. You're mourning the loss of someone you admired, someone who guided you, and then you're confronted with this confession that reveals the depths of their suffering, their
Yeah.
hidden struggles.
It's almost a betrayal in itself,
Yeah.
the realization that even those we think we know best
Right.
can harbor secrets and carry burdens we can't even fathom.
And this is precisely what makes Kokoro such a powerful and enduring work of literature. It delves into the intricacies of human relationships, exposing the gaps that can exist between individuals, even those bound by love, friendship, or shared experiences.
Soseki masterfully weaves together these different threads. Individual struggles, societal shifts,
Yeah.
cultural anxieties, the weight of the past, to create a tapestry that is both deeply personal and universally resonant.
One passage that stands out to me as encapsulating Sensei's emotional state comes from his letter, where he writes, "My experience in life has taught me not to believe people. So to tell the truth, I distrust you too. But I don't want to. You seem too innocent to be insincere. I have longed to trust someone, even once."
Wow.
This encapsulates his longing for connection, battling against the cynicism and distrust that have become his shield.
And ultimately, that's the tragedy of Sensei's story. He's a man caught between longing and despair, seeking connection, but ultimately unable to break free from the prison of his own guilt and isolation.
Kokoro is a novel that stays with you long after you finished reading. It prompts reflection on the nature of human connection, the burdens we carry, and the search for meaning in a world that can often feel indifferent to our struggles. While set over 100 years ago in a rapidly changing Japan, the themes of love loss, guilt, and the search for belonging resonate just as strongly today. Soseki's masterpiece invites us to consider the complexities of the human heart and to acknowledge that even in our most private struggles, we are not alone.